So welcome back. What a powerful, amazing morning has been so far. And now we go for yet another little miracle in this plan the universe concocted for us, through us, with us as a community. And here we are with our beautiful new guest of today, Shakti Caterina Maggi. I want to add something about Shakti. I have been heard talk about non-duality here in the US. I never knew the word non-duality when I was in Italy because it didn't exist, I thought. And it was so refreshing to one day go back to Italy and found that there was an Italian woman who was explaining those things in Italian that even my brother and my sister could understand, because it made no sense. When I tried to explain consciousness and non-duality to my family, they were looking at me like I have 6 heads and none of them was making any sense. And actually I found out there is some people that can say that in Italian. So it's a joy and an honor to have Shakti with us. Shakti, are you there?
Sure, I'm here. Can you see
Yay.
me, guys?
Oh,
There
yes.
you are.
Hi, Shakti.
Hey, Shakti. I want to read a brief bio intro of you, a bit more formal than this. And I can assure you, she also speaks English, so you will also understand. She's a girl, she's adorable. A good friend of us, and it's a joy to have you with us, Shakti. Okay. Shakti Caterina Maggi is a spiritual teacher sharing a message of non-separation between all beings. She offers a contemporary vision of mysticism and self-inquiry, focusing on themes like global awakening and the importance of embodying compassion and non-dual wisdom in our everyday life. She holds retreats and seminars in Europe and the US.
And online.
And online, because now they're more online. So, Shakti, it's a joy and an honor to have you with us. It's all yours.
Shakti.
Thank you, guys. So I started again and say, just close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and connect to this listening. And including in this moment anything, any distraction of the mind, any feeling that might be present, any body sensation that might be bothering you in any way. Just include it all in and listen. One silence. The same silence is right now listening through all the forms that are connected in this moment. One being. We are all united in this silence. And take a deep breath. And as you exhale, just open your eyes and welcome again. We live in a time in which we are called to let our wisdom to come from passing through the eye of the needle. We are in a time in which life seems to corner us and to ask us to give up to attachments, to fear. It's a deep calling. It's a deep calling that is coming from our everyday life with all the emergencies and all the difficulties that might be present in this moment. We are used usually to escape from these situations. We try to compensate, not to feel fear, or we react. And in this way, this inner fire that is showing up in fearful times is avoided again and again and again. And our life appears more and more as a repetitive dream in which faces and situations change, but the patterns are the same, again and again. And then arrive these incredible times like the one we live in now, in which we cannot escape anymore. We are put in a corner by life, and we are asked to look inside and see what is real of us and what is not. You're here, so you are interested in looking what is inside of you, not using maybe spiritual knowledge to escape, but to meet it in the flesh, in the raw vulnerability of your heart. What is alive for you? What is supporting you when things get heavy? Do you enjoy your own company in those empty moments in which you are alone? In which those images, those masks that we wear are not visible for anybody else? These are the times in which we can review our life, in which a very deep discernment can arise. I'm sure for many of us, we notice how in these weeks and in these months, we are noticing how many things are futile, are unnecessary now. And we are called to focus instead on what is really important: discernment. A discernment that is not coming from our psychological mind, a discernment that is coming directly from our heart. What is the heart? You, awareness, you, presence, you, consciousness, that are aware in this moment in your form, in your body. You is the heart. The real you is the heart. Not the character that you seem to embody and perform with all the word, but the real you, behind your senses, this presence, is the heart. And from this place, this incredible discernment arises in these times. Another quality that arises in these times of crisis is a possibility to develop compassion. Compassion for parts of us that we usually hide, or we are ashamed of, or we feel guilty about. Compassion for others, for their strife, for their efforts. Compassion in the sense of recognizing that sometimes life shows us our true face through suffering, with no discounts. Compassion for ourselves, for our misery, for our little fragilities, for our places where there is still fear. Compassion can arise in time of crisis, together with discernment. And then another incredible quality: courage. How can you be courageous if not when you're forced to be afraid? Courage comes when you have the possibility to cross fear. Only a person that is able to feel the fear, to touch the fear, to perceive the fear, can be courageous. So these three are your allies: discernment, compassion, and courage. And these are the three tools with which a new wisdom can arise for you. As I said before, usually we live hiding. We live compensating because we don't want to meet suffering. We don't want to meet that contraction of fear that accompanies us all the time, that we feel to be separated from one another. And we become so skillful in trying to avoid it until in time like this one, we cannot do it anymore. So let's speak about this. Let's speak about what is fear. It might be not so evident, but fear is your radiance, is your joy, is your energy that collapsed into the idea to be a separate person. At one time, that energy that right now you feel as psychological fear, I'm not speaking, of course, of a bodily fear that allows you to survive if, you know, a car is passing on the street and you need to avoid it. But that psychological fear, one time before you fell in this trap, in this illusion to be a separate entity, once upon a time, that fear was your joy. And it's all contracted around the sense of being a separate entity, and is calling you to be rediscovered by discernment, compassion, and courage. How? The way in which we relate to this fear, the fear to be separated, the root of every fear, the fear of death, that is behind any other fear in reality. That root fear can be met in meditation. Usually, we either repress it or we express it. We either try to avoid through those compensation I mentioned before, and you know which one are yours. Can be social media, can be work, can be sex, can be addictions. Even spirituality can be a way sometimes, if it's just intended on a mental way to avoid, to sit with fear. And so sometimes you repress. Or when you cannot repress anymore, when your strategies of compensation do not function anymore, then you escape through a reaction. You fight with it. You project it on the outside, on a person, on a situation, and you try to avoid it. Meditation is the place in which, instead than repressing this fear or expressing it horizontally outside in the illusion that you have to fight with what looks like is making this fear arise in you, meditation is the place in which you can sit with this fire, this sacred fire of fear. And in sitting with it, it burns you. It burns the illusory one. It burns all the images that you've been wearing for avoiding yourself, your true self. That's why these times in which we are cornered by life can be an incredible opportunity of transformation. Well, it's not so easy sometimes to sit with fear. It burns. You want to escape. You roll and toss and try to avoid it. But then, once again, discernment, compassion, courage, honesty, authenticity, you can meet it in your heart and simply sit with it. The power of meditation is this: your non-dual essence, the heart, awareness in human form, can meet duality. Your non-dual heart can meet duality, life, manifestation. And then it is the light of awareness that makes disappear all those illusions. And that energy that was previously locked inside the idea to be a separate person can turn again to be expressed as joy, as radiance. The transcending of the separate entity allows a full embodiment of your divine essence in your humanity. This is an incredible time. This is a difficult time, but this is an incredible opportunity to face all that has been still hidden in us, all that we have been escaping from, and simply meet it. I believe that sometimes in our spiritual life, it looks like as if an absolute level and a more relative human one cannot meet. And it looks like when we speak about divinity or God or paradise, as it was said before, it seems so far away from our everyday, from our human limited parts. And instead, these times of emergency are the times in which our divine wisdom can finally reveal itself. These are the times in which we can see that there is no separation from an absolute divine level between non-duality and duality, between your being divine and your being human. Because these are the times in which your transcendental nature can meet life in a very direct, simple way. The transformation, the alchemical transformation of fear must be done by recognizing, first of all, this sacred space that is your heart. Awareness in the human form, presence, silence, peace. This awareness is the ground in which true meditation can arise. Not following the stories of the mind, not identifying even with the emotions or the traumatic feelings that might be present, but simply sitting with this fear and allowing yourself to perceive it. Allowing yourself to be so silent and so still that this energy so contracted can relax in you, can speak to you, can shed its tears, can maybe share its stories, sometimes forgotten, and in which your true self can meet the me and love it. So I would like to invite you, maybe, if Maurizio and Zaya agree, to have a little experience together of this, a little guided meditation in which we can maybe taste this, and then we can discuss it together. So I invite you, wherever you are, in your house or wherever you're listening to this, to close your eyes for a moment and become very aware of what in you is listening. Check well. Is a person listening? Or is silence listening? Drop in the listening itself, very simply, very spontaneously, and check. Awareness in you is alive. It's a beautiful place, so neutral, so still, so compassionate. And notice how any bodily feeling, any thought might still be present, any feeling, any story that maybe is tormenting you in these times, in these days. Watch how your heart, this listening, this awareness, can hold it so simply. Like an armless hug, like a cosmic womb, like an infinite space of love. The container of all. And look the quality of this container. It's transparent, still, loving. And it can stay with whatever contraction might be alive in you right now. It can be a thought, it can be a feeling, it can be a story. But your divine heart can stay with it, can hold it. And breathe. Check if there is any other contraction in you that maybe haven't revealed itself yet. Allow it to unfold in you. And see how this armless hug, this cosmic womb, this ocean of compassion can take it in with no effort required. Not with the desire to resolve it, not with the desire of changing it, but with the love of staying with it. No agenda. Pure love. And take a deep breath. Deep breath that starts from the base of your spine, from the mother, from the earth itself. Breathe in. Let the breathing rise in the sky, on the Father. And breathe down and exhale. And open your eyes. Still is this non-dual awareness. Still is the heart speaking, looking, breathing. I've been asked to let this session with you guys be interactive as much as possible. So if anything want to be said based on what I shared, and maybe we can together with the wisdom arising in every being that is together now, the wisdom can arise from the question and answer, from the inquiry. What did you find? What do you find when you sit in meditation on this beautiful threshold in which you don't repress anymore, you don't express, but you sit? The threshold is the fulcrum of the meditation, is where you're neither existing or not existing. The miracle of the human, of the divine in human form. So if Anybody wants to share what they found in this little experience together, or based on the words that has been shared before, you are the most welcome. This space that I'm pointing of the heart, in which we can learn how to stay in emergency, in time of emergency, with any kind of problems and situation, is extremely powerful. And is not done with the idea to resolve or send away anything, but to welcoming it, to bring it in our transcendental being and dissolve it in dissolving it in this way. I believe there are some questions, so
Yes.
Thank you, Shakti.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Katie?
So, Katie.
Katie Eads?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much. You have such a beautiful voice and just such a calming presence. And it brings out even more in me the frustration that I feel. I feel like such a, they always say you can't meditate wrong, but I always feel like I'm meditating wrong. I don't go anywhere. I immediately start feeling like, oh, my shoulders hurt. I either go into my head and thinking, and then I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, come back, thinking, come back. Or my body starts to hurt. And all these things, these conjuring, like even earlier today when she talked about like picturing someone, an elder or someone in front of you, no one comes, and I spend the whole time, is it this person, is it that person, stressing, trying to picture the person, is it Ram Dass? No, it's not him. Is it my grandma? No. Like,
sounds like a lot of work.
It's very stressful. And even when I've had meditation,
yes.
You're supposed to picture yourself as a child, and I can't do that either. Like, I spend so much time that the meditation's over and I'm still stressing who should be in front of me or how it.
Okay, Katie, we share the same name, just in different language. And do you know that Catherine comes from Old Greek ekatharos, that means purifying fire?
I did not.
Yeah, well, basically it means Shakti. It's the same thing, it's purifying fire. So for a Shakti like you, like you need to find your Shiva, your silence, to contain that fire. That's exactly meditation, what it's about. Finding a space in which you're not busy doing something, but a place of silence in you, in which that can contain that activity. From what you said, when you try to meditate, you're trying to do something. And then immediately the mind starts and say, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Could I do it better? So I would say, try to recognize in you if there is a space. Right now, in this moment, even if your eyes are open, because meditation doesn't require actually eyes closed. It's just to help you, but you can do it with the eyes open. And actually, anybody here can do it. In this moment, in your laptop or in your phone, you have a talking head, yeah? So you're watching an object made of color and form, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Now, look back there. From the place in which the attention is coming from, your direction there. What is in you? Yeah? What is in you that is listening? What is in you that is watching? Check. Inquire. Is it a person? Is it Katie? Or is just awareness? When I do it, I find simply a silent awareness.
The observer.
Watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's be a bit more subtle. Do you find an observer, like a little guy or lady? Yeah. No, I don't even find an observer. Yeah, look, keep on looking. Use my finger. I'm pointing at you, exactly there. Yeah? You don't find even an observer. You find pure awareness, so loving. And is you, isn't it, Katie? Now, hold this space, you know, of awareness. Hold it, just for a few seconds with me. I'm helping you. I am looking from Sicily in Italy, you know, I'm looking at your essence and you're looking at my essence. Same silence looking through my eyes, same silence looking through your eyes. We are one. This is an open-eyed meditation. Life is an open-eyed meditation. This is reality, this moment. See, it's very easy to meditate. Yeah, maybe the mind gets distracted again. It's okay. You know, you can always find it again. Pure awareness is what can hold our strife, our effort, our suffering. That's the place where we can abide. That's the only safe place, the heart, our non-dual essence. Is it more clear now to you, Katie?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to speak with you. Ciao.
Beautiful. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Shakti. Now we have Alicia Serrano.
Hello, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are unmuted.
Hello.
Hi, Catherine. My question is, where can we derive the courage from?
Yeah, thank you for...
To do the, you know,
yeah.
to push this forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for asking this. This is very important. Well, the courage comes from finally being able to see that escaping from fear is not only useless, but painful also. It might ask some time to us to arrive to this. Generally, we try to hide, we try to compensate, we try to find another way, not to stay with the fear. And then, you know, our back doors on a certain point are over. We don't find them anymore. We are cornered by life. So courage comes from the recognition that escaping from fear is either impossible or is too painful. And it's interesting because the word courage comes from Latin and means having heart, to have heart. So having the heart, having a space out of which you can stay with the fear, because otherwise it's impossible. The only place where courage can arise is in awareness. When you are identified with the stories of the mind around why you are afraid, you cannot find courage. You find just escapes. So that's where you find the courage. By letting go of your escaping and staying, you know, finally with you.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia. So next we have Mike. Mike. Are you there, Mike?
Wait, we have me.
No, wait. Yeah, try again. Say something. We don't hear you. Mike Otton. We have to unmute you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, try now.
No?
No, we cannot unmute you.
Okay, let's do
Okay,
it.
now.
You do it. Yes.
Yay. Victory.
I'm unmuted, I think.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that lovely meditation, guided meditation. The one thing about I wanted to comment on was the courage. To me, there's two kinds of courage. There's the physical courage, because you know, there are people who aren't afraid to go into a burning building to rescue somebody or to fight in a combat. Myself, I don't. I once had to, you know, I don't fear things, but what I do fear is letting people into the heart, into my heart. That's when you allow somebody into your soul or into your heart. That's a whole different thing. And that's where I think you're talking about the courage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that is the hardest. I found your meditation. I suffered for a long time from a lot of pain. I had a disease for 5 years that left me in a lot of pain. It was meditation that got me partly out of that. And it was meditation that allowed me to be able to sleep at night. It was able to unleash some of the pain and to be able to go deeper into my psyche and to be able to face the things that were going on in my body. But what I wanted to comment on was that that just was the start of the journey. But I think that to me, when we just did our guided meditation, what I felt was serenity. I felt peace. When you talked about the container and the things in the container, there was all these emotions, but what used to be emotions of anger or hate or whatever, pain, now it's all good emotions and emotions that I don't fear I'm taking the lid off of. You know, I have the courage to remove the lid. You know, it's a different kind of thing, and so I really appreciated that meditation. It touched my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And I believe I absolutely agree with you. Is the courage to stay with ourselves. And you for sure noticed in this journey that you endeavored how, as we learn to stay with life as it is, we become also less picky about emotions. Sometimes there is sadness. And we discover that there is a beauty in that. When we don't refuse sadness, instead of becoming depression and contraction, it becomes a possibility to go, you know, more in the depth of our being. That sadness can become a beautiful vehicle for going in the depth of our being. Or pain, as you mentioned. Of course, I'm not referring to physical pain in this moment, as I believe you did, but in emotional pain. Pain can become a beautiful bridge to go towards a deeper authenticity. We become more real in pain. We are confronted with what is true of us, and so on. So I think that this, you know, you mentioned beautiful emotions, that of course our being is, somebody wrote here right now, is Sat Chitananda, truth, consciousness, bliss. Our true being is this, is bliss. But it's a bliss that allows anything to be present. Any messiness, any raw feelings, anything that is difficult and hard can be present. Anger can be present. Shame can be present. Guilt can be present. We don't need anymore to escape from anything. We are free to be human 100%. It's an incredible gift. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you.
And blessing for your journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniela Chavez, can you unmute yourself? Because she couldn't find a way to raise her hand and she had a question.
Sure.
Daniela. Oh,
Mi piacerebbe provare a parlare in italiano perché per me è più semplice. Non lo so se è possibile.
Yeah, Caterina can translate.
Claudia can translate, yes.
Claudia can translate.
Hello. Yes.
io volevo chiederti, bueno, prima ringraziarti, e non so se mi capisci in italiano, tu capisci l'italiano, no?
Sì.
Tu parli italiano? Sì.
Yes. Sì.
Sì?
Sì.
Ok. Niente, allora io volevo chiederti che io medito e faccio terapia somatic experience, faccio terapia craniosacral e faccio Qigong, però il mio corpo mi fa male.
I meditate, I do Qigong, craniosacral therapy, but my body hurts.
Yeah. E io sono un terapeuta. Quello che ti posso dire è che quando parlo del dolore mi viene da piangere, no?
And when I speak about pain, and I'm a therapist around these things, when I speak about pain, I feel like crying.
Yeah. Perché nella mia vita quotidiana mi sento bene e faccio di tutto di più e mi sento soddisfatta di tutto quello che faccio. È una vita che proprio mi sembra bella e faccio tutto quello che so che mi fa stare bene, no? Perché faccio un lavoro che mi piace, amo il mio lavoro, di tutto di più. Però il punto è che quando io medito sento il dolore, lo sento sempre e io ho visto che non lotto più con il dolore.
I feel good and satisfied in my daily life. I do a job that I love, but when I meditate, I feel pain, and I'm no longer fighting with the pain, but I feel the pain.
Okay, what are you asking, my dear?
E il dolore va via, scusa. Non completamente, il dolore non va via completamente, però si abbassa. E poi quando faccio le mie cose, torna un'altra volta. E ho delle giornate migliori.
Okay, una cosa che I didn't, one thing I didn't understand. Are you speaking of physical pain or of emotional pain? You're speaking of physical pain.
Yes,
okay.
For that is for me.
Okay. Okay, so I cannot help you with physical pain, my dear, because I'm not a physician. And all I can say to you, so I cannot help you with that. When I spoke about pain before, I spoke about emotional pain, of course. At the same time, sometimes our life, brings this physical pain. And as you already discovered, there is a place in you that is not in pain and is silence. When you sit in silence, you find a place in you that is not painful and can hold that pain. It doesn't mean that the physical pain goes away, because physical pain is an intelligent alarm of your body that is telling you that something is wrong and you need, to find medical assistance to take care of it, of course. So I make this distinguishment because if you ask me about physical pain, I don't want to speak directly about it because it's not my field of competence. But all I can say to you is that meditation can be a support, can be a frame in which other kind of situation in which you deal with pain can be resolved. But I don't want to speak about it because really it's not my field of competence and would be inappropriate for me to speak about it. But all I can say to you is that awareness is not in physical pain. So when you are able to let your meditation to be your everyday experience, even now, what is in you? What is in you that is watching that pain? And you discover that awareness is not in pain. And that is a place in which you can welcome that. But more than this, I cannot tell you because it's not my field. I hope you understand, and I wish you all the best for your life and for taking care of this problem that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I ask you because many doctors say that I done nothing, no, and I feel good and I feel happy, but the pain is there. And then I ask me if it's affair of the family, affair of my history of the generations or something like that, because I don't understand. But if you told me that when I meditate, I can be present and to be there, maybe and with the time.
You see, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot say anything about the pain, but that pain is an alarm that your body is sending you. And you need to listen to it and to bring it to those that can deal with it, that are doctors, not me. But that meditation can help you, you know, as a frame to support it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Shakti. Thomas Freiman. Sorry, I apologize as a start because I'm destroying all your last name. So make sure you say Benazzo to me and destroy it as well, because I apologize.
Just tell us how to pronounce it.
Tell us how to pronounce it if you wish, and next time I will try to do better. Sorry, Thomas. Maybe.
My name is intact. It has not been destroyed. So that was perfect. So yeah, my question is about courage, and I really appreciate your framing of courage as linked to the fear of death, and sort of think of death as very synonymous with change. I was wondering how to sort of feel into when to have the courage to enter change and when to be with sort of the stillness of being with the difficulty. So this could be in the change of a life circumstance, of a work or a relationship, or where you're living. How to sort of feel into the difference of having the courage to enter something new or to stay with what is.
Well, that evaluation, that is the discernment I was speaking about. You know, I spoke about these three qualities: discernment, compassion, and courage. Discernment, you know, is when you realize that, and I think this is true of many of us, you know, much of our life is engaged in situation in which we try to escape from, you know, from something. So maybe we are either in a relationship or in a work situation or any situation which we remain because we are too afraid of letting go. And some way that little hell, you know, it looks better and safer. You know, our little cage looks safer than letting go the known for the unknown. And I think that these times, you know, in which we are so confronted with fear, it's a time in which we can discern what is authentic of us, what is real of us, by what is not. And nobody can tell you. I cannot tell you what is good for you. I cannot discern for you. And don't believe anybody that does it, please. You know, there is a place in you that is the heart, that is awareness, that knows what is the best for you. And knows it in a way in which you see that you're trading fear, for having, for having a bit more of security. You trade it with your joy, and you say, oh, this makes me feel more safe. This is make me feel more safe. And one step after the other, your joy is completely dissipated and your life is very dull and gray. Now, I'm not saying that we have to, jump, in the abyss and say, let's throw all our life upside down, because we have to be courageous and true and authentic, but at least to have the discernment to see, is my life belonging to my heart or is belonging to the ego? For real, my relationships, my energy, what I do as a service for my community, what I do as a service for myself, what I do in the world is something that belongs to the self, to the true self, to truth, to my heart, or is belonging to the ego. And that discernment makes you realize this. And sometimes letting go of safety is very scary. At the same time, is very freeing. This is what we discover. This is what is exciting. We discover that, you know, in a way, when we dare to be ourselves and to sit with fear, even if it means changing something in your life, and you know if you want to do it, you know, we have back ourselves. And from those new building blocks that are no more fear but joy, we can build up something different. Once we learn to sit with fear, you know, we are able then to regain that energy that was previously engaged in the personality, and we have that energy available to let our true being shine into the form and becoming an individual, from the personality to the individual. The personality is locked in fear, the individual is the awareness shining in the human form. So it's something that, you know, as I said, nobody can say it for you. You have to discover it, and you discover it by making mistakes, by taking apparently the wrong turns in your life, for then realizing that those perfect mistakes were the only one that were allowing you to understand and learn things. So it's a journey. It's the journey of being you. One thing I want to say is that sometimes we say, oh, I need to change my work. I need to change my life because I'm feeling dull or gray or sad. But if those changes are done without doing an inner work, that is the one that I'm pointing here, you're going to find in the new situation the same one you are escaping from. Do you understand what I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, we cannot even, like, changing your life cannot become the escape. We have to find that change because the inner change has happened. And that is when you are in peace with yourself. Then very spontaneously this change happens. I hope this replies to you, to your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thomas. Claudia is our team member, the producer of this event, and she has a question.
Hello. Hello, stranger.
I know, right? Shakti, I have a question around discrimination and how so quickly, in my experience, that energy of discrimination can become the shadow side of the energy of judgment. And you know, what I guess how to unfold it, how to unpack it back in those moments, or how to understand that process better.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Yeah, discrimination, I use the word discernment, that is corresponding in Sanskrit to viveka. If you guys want to check it around, it's a beautiful word. And judgment are completely different things. When you judge, your attention is on the objectivity of the word or on the objectivity of your mind. And you are trying to, to give the feeling of contraction you feel inside yourself, to find a reason for it in the person that you are judging or in the situation that you're judging. When you discriminate, your attention is not on objectivity, but you're bringing the objectivity back to the subject. So discernment is awareness operating, from the subject to the object. It's completely different. There is a beautiful image that I give you, and it might be interesting for people that are enjoying the Indian culture. And is the image of one of the Mahavidyas, the wisdom, Mahavidya, the great wisdom, Shakti, is manifesting in 10 aspects. One of them is Dumavati. Usually we see these goddesses as very gorgeous and beautiful and sensual and enchanting. And Dumavati is a Shakti, is an aspect of the goddess that appears as a widow, as an outcast, as an old woman, as she's sitting on a chariot. And the chariot is driven by a crow that is significance of death, bad luck, poverty. So all the things that you want to escape from in your life. And she's sitting there on this chariot with this crow, and she has in her hand a tool. And this tool is allowing the wheat, the husk from the grain, to be separated. She has in her hand a tool of discernment. And it's a beautiful, powerful image, because of all the 10 Mahavidyas, of all the 10 aspects of divine wisdom, she is the one that leads you to void. She's one of the most powerful. She gives you incredible gifts. She can grant incredible boons. She is the energy, because Shakti is energy, the energy of life that appears when you fail, when you lose, when you grieve, when something is dying in you, when you feel so miserable, you can discern the truth. So I'm giving you this image of Dumavati that I truly love, and she has been inspiring me in my life in the most difficult times, and she's been saving me, because I think it's very important that we understand that sometimes a born again to something more real passes through this, and it's not bad. It's just apparently, miserable, poor, difficult. That discernment is not like judging, going in the word, but is the other way around. Is bringing the word back in you and understanding that you as awareness, you are the only one that is creating what you are viewing. So when you judge, you believe that something outside of you is separate from you and is responsible for what somebody's doing or a situation is creating. When you discern, you bring in that object back to the subject, back to awareness, and you discern. You are creating it. This is something is happening in me. This feeling that I'm feeling is not provoked by another. It's arising in me. You're taking the responsibility of it. And then you can process it. And then you can grow in it. I hope this is clear in this explanation for you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, my dear.
Thanks, Claudia. Thank you, Shakti. Claire Heading, you had the hand up and we raised it by mistake. You're back. Can you unmute yourself, Claire? Or we should do it for you? No. Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, no.
Yes, there we go. Beautiful.
Okay. No more touching. Thank you for this space. And Shakti, your energy helps me find the courage to speak into the space. And I also want to thank Mike, because the question he asked made me realize that I needed to speak into the space. I don't seem to be able to find a way to heal a message that I carry inside myself. And the message relates to not being enough to be loved, not being enough to be allowed to be happy. I spend my life giving, and I get pleasure from that, and I get meaning. But at the same time, I feel like I'm sort of lying, because I'm not able to receive what I'm giving. So it feels like a clash of truth. And it hurts. I hurt inside. And it's not obvious, because I kind of look like a really happy person. But I feel like I'm shortchanging myself, and I'm halfway through my life if I have a full-length life.
Okay. So,
and
yeah.
I wonder how you could say.
Yeah. First of all, it's not a business, isn't it, love? I give, you give me. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see it, you know, that we do a little bargain. But then when we feel like you are disappointed by that, like we're feeling, oh, maybe I'm not enough, maybe I'm not, this is why I'm not receiving love, or I'm not, even if I give all of myself, nothing seems to come back. When the object of love has failed us, this is the incredible time in which we can allow ourselves to come back to where true love is, where you are. Can I do it with you? Can I make you have can I do a little experience with you? So it's not
Sure.
just words that I'm giving you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and anybody can do it. We can do it all together. We can help Claire, and we can help ourselves by doing it together. So close your eyes for a moment. And imagine that you have a little lift, you know, and you go down from your head down in your heart. Just descend in the middle of your chest and contact your heart. So innocent. So good. And instead of trying to search an object of love, stay with your own love. Yeah? And see how your own love is fully present, is fully here for you. So innocent, so not knowing anything. And dive into it. Meet it, one layer after the other. Deeper and deeper in your heart. Trust it. Trust the love of your heart and meet it deeper and deeper and deeper. Maybe breathe into it. Yeah, breathe deeper. There is so much love in you, so much love in your heart. You search for more love and you find it. It's boundless, it's endless. It's an ocean of love. And enjoy your own love. Enjoy this endless love and meet it. And discover that this love that is in your heart is the same that you feel for other people. Is the same you are trying to have from other people. Is here. And in this love of your heart, there isn't anybody that is important or unimportant. It's just love. So simple. Yeah, there is no first place or second place. It's just present. And you can drink it, bathe in it, swim in it, taste it, feed from it. And nourishes all the cells of your body, your skin, your muscles, your bones, your hair, your eyes, your limbs, your belly. Everything is full of your own love. It's all inside. And it's all you. Now look again at those ideas of not being enough. They're just thoughts. And your heart can take them in. You don't need to deny them. You can allow them to be present in this ocean of love in you. It's so touching, it's so beautiful, your heart. It's so moving because it's so good, so innocent. It doesn't deny anything. It doesn't refuse anything. It loves you deeply already, exactly as you are. Put a hand on your chest, yeah, and a hand on your belly so you can hold yourself, yeah. Ah. And take a deep breath. And as you exhale, open your eyes. And I'm here with you. I'm still with you. I'm still holding you. Can you feel it? Yeah? Do you see? It was just an idea. There is already love in you. It's you. And anytime, even if I go in a few seconds, you know, anytime you can go in your heart and you will find plenty of love. I know, you know, sometimes we don't feel recognized or seen or understood by other people. And you know what? They have their own right of not understanding us. Because maybe that's part of their journey. But we are not cast away from love if other people don't see us. That's the good news. This love is fully present here and is you. Thank you.
I don't really know what to say to that. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, to support you. Thank you.
We are not cast away from love if others don't see us. Wow. Beautiful too. Hold that in our hearts. Victoria Martino, you're unmuted now.
Okay, thank you. I know Maurizio cannot do anything with my last name. You know. My question, as you were just doing this beautiful experience with Claire, I had an insight. This is not my question, but that because I suffer from exactly the same thing, but I feel now you've given me the tool for healing, which is amazing after a lifetime. So thank you profoundly. It's in the context of this whole conference, the realization that my sense of inadequacy, of being unloved, of not being enough, of hating myself, self-hatred, self-loathing, all these things that I've lived with my whole life, I suddenly see through this experience with you as the ego, as the separate self, the sense of separateness, and how in this oneness and non-duality, it's impossible not to feel that love. I mean, it's actually a miracle for me because I've had a lifetime of looking in all different directions for that. So thank you. My question is that I live in a paradox that I'm a professional musician, but I love nothing in life more than silence. Silence for me is everything, and ever since early childhood, I've suffered from the noise and cacophony of our world. Now, as I get older and older, I'm wondering, is my increasing love for silence how do I know whether it's a vocation, it's a calling to a life of hermitage, or whatever you want to call it, for deeper spiritual awakening, or how do I discern if it's that, or if it's an escape from the world and the chaos?
Well, whatever brings joy in your life, in your case, is music, and I understand it. I'm a great lover of music myself. Whatever brings joy to your heart is not an escape. Whatever instead you're using from escaping from life becomes a cage. So I believe that as a musician and as an artist and as a lover of beauty, you are actually finding a contact with the divine through music. Because when music is playing, then, you know, the musician doesn't exist anymore. When there is real music, you know, that's what we're trying to touch through music. When there is just music and nobody's playing it and nobody's hearing it, then in that beauty, that becomes a meditation in itself. So maybe sometimes, you know, the personality trying to eject, you know, music to escape from the cacophony of life, as you said. But I'm sure that even that attempt fails in the moment in which you are nourishing the inner garden of your heart with the love for the divine through music. So the distinguishment comes from the joy that you feel in either playing music or listening to it. Because where joy is, the ego cannot exist. Because in joy, there is no a person that is in joy. When there is joy, there is pure awareness, shining as joy.
Beautiful, thank you. But the balance between silence and music?
Well, in my experience, silence and music are just, silence is just the background of everything, of any sound. Even now, you know, try. Even now in you, there is silence, listening to words.
Mm-hmm.
The silence is still present, even if the words are happening. The silence doesn't go away. Doesn't go away if the words are present. If there was a music now playing, the background, the silent background would be anyway present.
Mm-hmm.
So silence is not the opposite of music. Silence is the space in which music dissolves, is the space in which music arises. So silence is the place where you enjoy the music as well.
Oh, thank you. That's so integrated. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Victoria. Thank you so much.
Wow, beautiful. I fear we reach yet again the end of another beautiful session, gathering of amazing souls and creatures from all over the world. Thank you, Shakti.
Thank you, guys. Can I just say one thing before saying goodbye to everybody?
Please.
Just not to be afraid to feel fear. Don't be afraid to meet anything that appears dark and difficult in your life right now. This is a time of rediscovering of yourself. This is a time of deep discernment and understanding. Use it well. This can be a time in which finally your heart thrives and becomes prominent and on the front end in your life. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Maurizio Zaya, for this opportunity, and old sand staff that are amazing. Lisa, Claudia, everybody, that Stacy, that and Ronald, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shakti, for this invitation. And one of the threads we've been carrying also through this event is really like building intimacy with our fear, because there is this tendency also in our culture to make fear the enemy. It's like, oh, it's wrong to be afraid. And we long for, so your invitation is exactly, it feels very timely and aligned. And later in the days, we will have also some more somatic tools, how to be with fear, and when it gets too strong, how to regulate. So
later in the week, actually,
in the week.
Not today, not today, but in the
So thank you, Shakti, for that invitation.
Thank you.
For your presence.